Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sharielle if you're new, and if you're returning, thank you for coming back. Today will be a thrift flip, and I am turning this puffer coat that I got from Goodwill into a puffer tote bag. So let's get right into this video. The last time I went to Goodwill, I saw this beautiful fuchsia puffer coat, and I knew immediately I wanted to turn it into a tote bag. This jacket was $14.99 and it was half off, so it was really $7.50. And this is me taking it out of the dryer after I washed it because I wanted to work on a clean jacket. I'm now using my seam ripper to take the jacket apart. I started at the zipper, and once I got to a certain point, I just ripped it open. I also took the remaining stitches out of the rest of the jacket. Here is the jacket in pieces. As you can see, the shell has the insulation, and on the other side was the fleece lining. This is one of the pieces that has the shell of the jacket, which is a nylon, which is waterproof, and on the other side is the original insulation that I'm not going to use. So I'm going to take out the original insulation to separate it from the shell. Now that I separated the original insulation, I can use the original shell of the jacket to cut out the tote bag. I used the Simplicity pattern to cut out the tote bag. I'll put it in the description which one I used. And the shell of this tote will be from the original jacket, but the lining will be from a nylon ripstop that I had on hand because I didn't want to use the fleece from the jacket to line this tote bag. And to give my tote bag the puffiness, I'm using my own batting that I had on hand as well. Now I'm cutting out the shell of the tote bag from the original jacket. And then I'm cutting out the lining of this tote bag from the nylon ripstop I had on hand. Now that all of the pieces are cut out for the lining and the shell, I'm cutting out the batting to give the bag its puffiness. These are all of the pieces of the tote bag, and now we're ready to sew it up. Off camera, I created a stencil out of cardboard, and this is what I'm going to use to create the pattern for my quilt stitch on my tote bag. So I used chalk to draw the lines. So this is the final pattern. Then I added the batting to the shell and quilt stitched it off camera. I'm now going to create the straps on camera. This is the batting for the straps. This is the shell for the straps, and these chalk lines I'm going to use to make the quilt stitch. Now I'm lining up the lining with the batting underneath, and I'm going to top stitch each chalk line that I made. And afterward, it gives the quilt stitch for each strap for the tote bag. Now that the quilt stitch is done for each strap, I folded both of them in half and top stitched them closed so that they're ready to attach to the tote bag. Now I'm top stitching the strap onto the tote bag. If you don't know, I do have a clothing brand and I'm embroidering my logo so I can attach it to this bag. Here my machine is embroidering it. I cut the label out and then I top stitched it onto the bag, and then I put a piece of vinyl on top of the bag to give it a nice finishing touch. Now I attach the two lining pieces together and I'm going to iron them out so I can have a clean seam. Now that my lining is pressed, I'm going to serge the seam because I want this bag to be well made and not fall apart ever. This is the serge seam, and after that I went to my straight stitch machine and I top stitched the lining. And then I added the Velcro because I want this bag to close. Next, I sewed together the shell pieces. I set up the camera at a bad angle, so I really couldn't capture me sewing it for real. And then I serged it afterward at another bad angle, I'm sorry. And then I attached the lining pieces together at another bad angle, but you can see the seam at the end. Then I serged the sides of the lining, and after that I added the lining to the shell. I added the shell to the lining, right sides together, and then I'm pinning it so that when I bring it to my sewing machine, it's ready to sew. Now that my bag is sewed on the perimeter and I serged it afterward, I put the bag right side out and I hand stitched the hole closed. And this is the final bag. I'm happy with how it came out, but for next time I will put more batting so it's a little puffier. Here's the details of the Velcro. And here's the outfit I chose to wear with it to model, and I really like how this looks. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification button to see right when I post. And share this with your friends. Thank you once again. You are appreciated.